Hello, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and welcome to the latest episode of Dick Rogers, Space Detective.
We all knew this day would come at some point.
I didn't think it would happen this soon.
Given the time frame Dick Rogers was on the air, I'm surprised we haven't run into this already.
We need to talk about Joseph Campbell.
If you don't talk to your kids about Joseph Campbell, who will?
Wait, he's not the soup guy?
Definitely not.
Joseph Campbell was a professor of literature at Sarah Lawrence College who was very interested in comparative religion and mythology.
He's most famous for writing The Hero with 1,000 Faces, and through that book establishing his own myth that all stories were based on one singular monomyth.
If you're wondering why most movies in Hollywood have a similar story structure, you can blame him.
And George Lucas.
So, wait, he didn't make soup at all? Just kidding. So, if he came up with this thing that people use to structure movies and it works, why are you talking about him like he's some kind of monster?
Well, aside from the worst kind of intellectual laziness and looking at a few stories, coming up with the whole monomyth thing, and then just dismissing every story that doesn't fit that blueprint as outliers.
He was also kind of a monster.
Yeah, he was kind of a Nazi sympathizer, among other things.
Ooh.
There's an excellent 2-part video essay by Maggie Mae Fish on YouTube that really outlines things well.
Okay, yikes. Oh, wait, so why are we talking about him?
The author of this script had definitely read The Hero with 1,000 Faces.
Speaking of, this episode was written by Wilson Wilson for broadcast in September of 1950.
Wait just a second. The author's name was Wilson Wilson.
Yeah, he wrote a bunch of episodes.
No. You mean to tell me Mr. Wilson and Mrs. Wilson were expecting a baby, and they discussed it, and the best name they could come up with was Wilson Wilson?
Yeah, I guess that's what happened.
Well, I guess we can talk more about it after the episode.
I wouldn't count on it, but we're definitely not going to get anywhere right now.
All right, rolling.
If there's one name that the criminals of the galaxy fear, it's him. If there's one name that brings hope to law-abiding citizens, it's him. If there's one name that thrills listeners throughout central Ohio and neighboring areas, it's him. These are the adventures of Dick Rogers, Space Detective. This week, Dick has the opportunity of a lifetime, the biggest case of his career, and his chance to make his name legendary. To do that, all Dick has to do is answer the call. What call? This is Dick Rogers and the Call to Adventure, written by Wilson Wilson. Presented by our episode sponsor, Lucky Strike Cigarettes, who we'll hear from later in the episode. And now we join Dick on a seemingly normal day in his office.
party is not responding. Would you like to continue waiting?
Bippo.
Okay. Have a good day.
Bippo.
This episode's nerds are Angela Ventris as Eleanor Barclay, Brittany Stone as Evangeline Woodward and telephone operator, Michael Storm as Mike Nutley, Jacob Herman as announcer, Shia LaBeouf as Dick Rogers, Pitbull as Commander Oz Thorin, Kate Winslet as R-Tunk. The character of Ulnar the Mundane was played by Jim Carrey, Sean Young, Courtney Cox, Troy Evans, Dan Marino, Tone Loke, Udo Kier, Raynor Shine, Noble Willingham, Mark Margolis, and Randall Craig Cobb. Lou Bega as Hema Furl, Amy Adams as Chug Zed Berkir Loka and Jill, and Nicholas Johnson as Bippo. Dick Rogers and the Call to Adventure was written by George R.R. Martin. Technology consultant Ned Ludd. Stop motion animation by Daniel Day-Lewis. Music by Duran Duran. Sound design by Chad Balsley. And audio editing by Tarn Willers and Johnny Byrne.